Hello, Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday. It's just barely Tuesday. And that it's, according to my Funkin' Wagnalls, it's 1:24 a.m. Tuesday. Yeah. Here I am in living color. Almost. This will turn the lights up just a tad. There we go. Yeah. It's 67.5 degrees in here, so I've got my Secret Service jacket on. As you can see, my all right. Let me add my photo library so I can keep track of. I want to be right in the middle though. Yeah, here we go. Right in the middle. I got. Hey, you want to keep it down over there? I got a little dog in a box digging for gold. Yeah. All right. This is Tuesday, it's April 7th. It is episode 586, late night edition. Yeah. For us insomniacs, maniacs, or could be early morning people, very early morning people, or wow, what a commotion we got going back. That poor little dog has a little cap, like a cap on top of a medicine jar, empty medicine jar cap. And when I make my morning coffee, which I happen to have some morning coffee here, a little morning blend. Yeah. Made out of K-cup. Single serve. Goes in like 20 ounce mug. I have 3 or 4 ounces of half and half, which when I grew up used to be called milk. 4% milk. Yeah. All right, so Trump is flexing his muscles now that he has his. Facebook took off after 4 minutes. Yeah, I don't get it. There's plenty of bandwidth. Siri Bob, let's check. Let's see if there's something. There we go. Testing. Yeah. Connection. 25 milliseconds on the ping. The ping test is where the test sends a signal out into the backbone of the web and then ricochets back. The ping. Almost like, in the hunt for Red October, And Sean Connery says, one ping only. Boom. Because the two captains are talking to each other. And that one ping only, everybody can hear. In the Red October, what's going on? One ping only. Yeah, we got enough bandwidth. Yeah, this multi-level broadcast. So with any kind of luck, we could be broadcasting with several. This little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel is having a ball inside his little box, making quite a racket. I don't know if you can hear it or not. We'll see when I play this back. Yes, sirree. I also found that I was over-modulating a bit. So I've removed myself from the microphone just a tad. There we go. Turn that way and look back a little bit. It's 1:30 a.m. See, finally the cap has ejected itself from the box. And she's going to play hockey puck with the cap. So, yep, it's getting noisy in here. All right, we go. So what's going on your any given Tuesday? Yep, there's favorites. Well, for one thing, there you go. It is a Mega Millions $100 million lottery. Now, you know, that's, I don't know about you guys, but 100 million is a serious amount of money. Now, I have taken the liberty of creating a spreadsheet for all of us to look at. Now, this is not official lottery anything, but you can see up on the very top in italics, right after the word millions, you can see lump sum payout, after tax payout, and any dollar values are estimates produced by the author. The author is me, Jimmy. All data presented have not been confirmed nor endorsed by any lottery. Really. Now, I've spent a few moments in trying to make this presentation, you know, attractive. So I did the yellow and the black and the white and the draw jackpot winning numbers. I even have something that looks like ping pong balls here for the winning numbers. Yeah. And roll over with a pinpoint in it. There are 45 states that carry Mega Millions, and the District of Columbia and the Virgin Islands. 47 jurisdictions, 45 states, yeah. 223,000 real retailers, can you believe it? I asked the question of myself, and I said, self, how many lottery retailers do you think there are? You know, gas stations and, you know, grocery stores, you know, convenience stores. I figured, you know, maybe 20, 30,000. Missed it by And as Elon would say, an order of magnitude. I missed it by an order of magnitude, which is a factor of 10. So there's 223,000, not 23,000. Yeah. Anyway, later on today, Tuesday, the 22.5 hours from now, the next drawing of Mega Millions is going to happen. And someone is either going to win or not win. Or who knows, maybe more than one person wins or not wins. $100 million. So stick that in your fucking wagons. Now, let's just pretend that Jimmy wins it. Now, the chances of me winning that are 290 million to 1 that I will not win it. So it is, statistically equivalent to getting hit by lightning twice. Yeah. So Jimmy says to himself, what would be the lump sum? Well, I went back over a whole bunch of lotteries and did a comparative analysis on what was the published lump sum payout compared to the actual forecasted lottery jackpot to a single winner. And I came up with, it's about 45.234. Yeah, it is. So it's about 45.246 or something. But I rounded to the nearest 100,000. So I've only shown 3 digits plus zeros. Yeah, so that's it. We're looking at the bottom row there where the green dot is. So if you elected the lump sum, which theoretically is the net present value of the future cash flows. What future cash flows, you might say? Well, if you win $100 million Mega Millions, you have to, in order to get the 100 million, you have to say, I'll take the 30 payment annuity paid over 29 years and a day. You get $1,505,000 on day one. And then every year thereafter, for 29 future payments, the payment is 5% bigger than the payment before. So the next one would be like $1,580,000, right? Because 5 times 15 is 75. 75 plus 5 is 80. So it's about $1,580,000 in round numbers. Yeah. And then the next one would be 5% greater than that. And when you get to the 29th payment, the 30th payment, it's actually like 6 million something. So that's the miracle of compound interest. According to lottery rules, based on this drawing, they can change the rules. And they publish it, but the current rules are that the annuity is a 5% growing annuity, which is pretty nice. If you're a salaried person and you're going to be guaranteed 5% increase every year, will you take that for a 29-year promise? Do it. Anyway, but at my age, I'm taking lump sum. So that is 45.2 million. But you don't get 45.2 million because the long arm of Uncle Sam, it's subject to a 24% what it goes, a 24% withholdings tax. All lotteries, I believe, this is IRS regulation, all lotteries are subject to a 24% withholding tax. Just like your payroll is subject to, your 1 or 2 or 3 exemption withholding on your payroll. On your paycheck, there's withholding. Well, the lottery, it's 24% withholding, which is, in this case, a little over $10 million gets peeled off your $45 million. So now you got $34 million. Yeah. So if you have a TD Bank account, for example, Jimmy, you do. What is the routing and transit number of your TD Bank? 0670-14822. And what is your account number? And then you rattle off your 9 or 10-digit account number. You might be advised to call your branch manager at TD Bank and say, oh, by the way, I've just won a after-tax $34 million lottery, and they're making a deposit in my account tonight. So it will not be a typo. That's a real number. So would you tell your treasury management people or whoever needs to know that 34 million is hitting Jimmy's account? Yeah. You can call the lottery people if you want to just double check, verify. But it's roughly $34,352,000 in round numbers. Thank you very much. But Jimmy, don't forget, you're going to be in the 37% tax bracket. We've accounted for 24% as a withholding. You're going to owe another 13% of federal income tax, aka FIT. And as you can see up there in black and white, less the remaining 13% FIT. That happens to calculate out at $5,876,000. That's a lot of money, $5,876,000. So make sure you put that in the side pocket somewhere, because when you do your tax return in April of 2027, you're going to have to send along $5,876,000 in round numbers. So don't spend that 34 million too quickly. Put the 5,876,000 in the side pocket. Let me tell you what to do with it. Jimmy, remember this. 5,876,000 times. Put it in a 4% interest-bearing something account, safe account. And the interest on that would be $235,000. So you can imagine. There you go. We're going to put $5,876,000 in the side account, and you're going to make $230,000 in interest on that while you're waiting to send that money along to the IRS. Yeah. It's not a bad bonus. Yeah. Oh, look what I got up here. I got a little puppy dog. You can see that little Cocker Spaniel if you can. I know it's a little dark in there. Yeah. Yeah, we're such a busy little puppy as we are. Making quite a racket. Now, the state of Florida does not have an income tax on lottery winnings or an income tax on any earnings. So that 28 million, you can keep in the side pocket. Yeah. And you can figure out how to divvy up that 28 now among your friends and relatives. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so that's 22 hours from now. Someone or no one is going to win. And then I make another rollover. Yeah. My God. That noisy dog. So that's why I have this little placard here, which I'm going to duplicate. They went right next door with it. And now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to trim, the annuity part off of this. There we are. Makes this a little bit bigger and bolder. All right. That's with the annuity. See, it's like reduces in the size of the fonts. 145. There you go. Now we can see that better. Pretty neat how I got those ping pong balls in there, huh? Well, let me show you how I did that. It's actually more of a little like a security thing to make sure that I don't transpose digits, type them wrong. I don't want to type the winning numbers. So what I do is I go to Lottery Central, which is a state of Florida lottery application, which I have loaded on the phone and my iPad, and I'm going to hit the 3 bars up here. And it says, what are the winning numbers for Mega Millions? And here they are, 70, 80 million seats, 64, 59. These are all the winning numbers. And I just do this. I do a print screen. And I come up here like this. This is exactly what I do. And then I come down here, just like that. And then I come across over here. I gotta like fine tune this a couple of times. Yeah. All right, so now, so this way the amount of white space around the balls is consistent from end to end and top to bottom, just like that. Bingo. That's it. Then I hit the check mark, save the photos. And then we come over here to photos, and we go over here, and we, I have to say, recently saved. No, excuse me. It's a big blast. Yeah. Anyway, so here it is right there. That's it. Now, another thing that I do is I make a few adjustments to darken up the black lines and also increase the exposure a little bit. There you go. I gotta brighten it up a bit. Just like that. And check mark. So now I just do a copy. Copy and paste into the spreadsheet. Yep. And that's how that's done. I don't type a thing. I just do image editing. I don't need to say that. I just strip it right in there. Say, there it is. Yeah, 3145, and so on. It makes a rather attractive presentation. And that way I'm not typing and I don't have to worry about making mistakes typing. Because there are some people out there looking at their tickets, seeing if Jimmy knows what the hell he's talking about. Well, I almost do. In news today, remember this lady, Savannah Guthrie? She goes back to the Today Show, and they still haven't found Mom. I don't think they're going to find Mom. I think it's I don't know whether they were figuring she's super wealthy and had all kinds of cash and jewels laying around. So my guess is when they finally write their final report of an unsolved homicide, it's going to be a homicide without body. It's going to be, in my opinion, a robbery went bad. And she got up in the middle of the night while these guys were robbing. They were sifting through her jewelry or whatever. And she started screaming and yelling, and someone whacked her over the head. And it was, and then she fell down and hit her head on it and started bleeding. And then they had to wrap her up and ditch the body. So her body got ditched somewhere. This town that she lived in I guess Arizona, is about 60, 70 miles from the Mexican border. So I'll bet you 10 cents they went over the border and dumped her in someplace. And the body's gone. Doggone. Body gone. So that'll be an unsolved, well, I don't know if they're going to solve the murder mystery or not, but they're not going to find the body. So that could be, burned, incinerated, crematoriumed. I got a friend in the crematorium business and just got rid of that evidence. Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah, too bad. Got an untold number of hours of TV time advertising that Savannah's mother being stolen in the middle of the night. Yeah. All right, the 7 rules of life. Let it go. Don't keep thinking about whatever the hell happened yesterday. Give it time. Time heals. Don't compare everything with everything. Just do the best you can. Ignore the noise from the outside. Don't get stuck. Stay calm. Be yourself. It's very easy to be yourself. Just be yourself. And smile and be happy. Why not? Happiness is a choice. You can be unhappy or you can be happy. Choose happy. Why not? Oops. I happen to drive a Tesla car, and the Tesla stock price has gone in the toilet this month. And last month, last 90 days, it's down like $100 a share. But in my opinion, this is just opinion to myself. It's the price earnings ratio is over 300. That's insanity. Show me another multi-billion dollar company that's on the New York Stock Exchange that has a price earnings ratio of over 300. Now, granted, they're going to be making robots. They're going to have, tens of thousands of robotaxis all over the place. Driverless robotaxis. Where these robotaxis are going to take you from point A to point B. Managed and driven by a very sophisticated software computer program. Yep, it's got 7 cameras pointing in all directions. You only got 2 eyes. They got 7 cameras. And they sample the data at a refresh rate of 35 frames per second. Refresh on all 7 cameras.
5 frames per second means that a camera will take 5 still images of an object that takes 1
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Siri just decided to tell me what that meant. Siri, quiet, please. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so. Yeah, the future has it. We're going to all be driven around by, by computer operated buses and, such. There's an interesting photo of Trump and Marco Rubio walking from point A to point B, probably White House grounds. And Trump is always animated in his conversation. He's a smart cookie. He may not like everything that he does. You may not like anything that he does. Most people don't like the way he says things rather than what he says. And some people don't like any of it. I like the fact that he's competent. He's increased the defense budget by 1.5 trillion, which he has to do. Let me say this about that. Remember, he's doing something with Iran and Venezuela. Any of the money, time, effort, and so forth that the taxpayer of the United States has spent is going to be reimbursed in oil, either by a drastic reduction in oil price or by free oil to pay off, the tens to hundreds of billions of dollars we spent, handing out bombs, and delivering bombs. So that's, we got to remanufacture and replenish our military for all the bombs that we have spent, the planes that have been wrecked. Just think of, 5,000 men on aircraft carriers, their salaries, their operating expense, their food, the operation of the aircraft carrier, the jet fuel number 2, the servicing of the jets, the cost of the jets. How about that? Per hour, there's a Defense Department, I'm sure, has numbers on how much it costs to operate a jet. What's the depreciation on a jet? Plus how much money? 400, I don't know how many billions of dollars to make one of these jets. And so, it's got a useful life of, 20 years. So divide that by months and allocate that as depreciation, which, you're going to reimburse that depreciation in oil. You betcha. Iran's got plenty of it. So does Venezuela. So they're going to reimburse us with oil. So that oil is going to drop the energy expense for the United States accordingly. Because on one end, we're spending $5 trillion for, the defense budget, which you got to spend because we got to restock the warehouses of all these bombs and reimburse for all the depreciation and all the equipment, the salaries of all the officers, and airports. That's tires. My God. Yeah. So knowing the businessman that Trump is, he's got it in the plan to get reimbursed. You can be sure of that. I am absolutely shocked that Penn, beyond me, is one of the first cabinet secretaries to, get whacked. It's unbelievable. I thought this guy, he doesn't seem to have the polish, that's department or, the head of the War Department. He may be a good cheerleader for everybody, but I don't know. The guy he stands next to, that general, 4-star general, he's savoir faire. He should be the defense secretary, not this guy, in my opinion. Nothing personal. Plus, now there's a rumor that he was out on some binge. You can't be the Defense Department SecDev and you're out on a binge. What if there's an emergency? Oh, I'm sorry, he's incapacitated? No, not, and knowing that Trump is anti-alcohol to begin with, that could be the beginning and the end of all. Yeah. Peter Hegseth. Hegseth's top aide spilled jaw-dropping claim about drunken Bender. Jaw-dropping. Like, I can't imagine what that means. There he is. Yeah, the employer-in-chief. Right, standing right behind Biondi. He got whacked. He's going to get whacked, in my opinion. And, I don't know. Trump is also seeking to privatize TSA. That certainly could do it. That would get it off the government doles. So you don't have to worry about, any political party holding our air transportation system or our safety from bad guys hostage to these political games on, you think you're in charge, I'm in charge, whatever. The 4 words are, it's about time. Something like that. Now is the time to get out. They normally last, a year and a half or a year and 3/4. But she was like 14 months, and bam. Instead of her resigning, he told her in the limousine on the way to the Supreme Court, which would have been a marvelous thing for her to sit next to the head law enforcement officer, which is the president, listening to oral debates about the 14th Amendment, I think. Trump's ballroom fight, which is it's made only in America can someone volunteer to give you a free ballroom, and he's holding a poster of the finished product. But it sheds light on the underground White House bunker. Duh, that's a big surprise there, huh? We know there's an underground White House bunker. So does everybody else. Maybe it sheds too much light on it because it's exposed there under the dirt. Yeah, I know. California election experts sound the alarm as the rejected ballots have quadrupled in numbers because they don't have any, voter ID requirements. Well, how stupid is that? How do you know whether the people that are voting are even citizens? All the illegal aliens that have been flowing in, there are a lot of non-citizens that are going to be voting. Yeah. Democrats are hoping to vote for them. Can't have it. Gotta have a voter ID. You need a picture ID to, to go to the library, for God's sakes. To buy a can of beer. You need picture ID. You think voting is less important than buying a glass of wine at your local bar and grill? Having lunch? Innocently having lunch? Then you need a picture ID to be able to order a glass of wine, yeah. Well, all the blue states are saying, oh, no, it's voter suppression. We're a sophisticated society, and you have to prove who you are. And you better look like your photo. Or else you ain't voting, Jack. And that's one of the bills that's trying to get through the Senate. Senate better get smart while they have time. Yeah. XF looks like he's in the catbird seat. I think Trump's going to find a way to... Well, you can slide him out in a minute and just put the other general right in charge. I betcha. Fast-growing wildfire in Southern California triggers evacuations. Oh, there you go again. I wonder if the fire hydrants work. Their governor is out floating around instead of doing his job. Here's my watch face yesterday at 2:57 Monday. Afternoon. 90 feet above sea level, which is about right. On the 8th floor here, 8 stories above chops. How does my watch read today? Let's do a print screen on that. Two buttons at the same time, you end up with a print screen. Let's see if how fast it shows up. Recently saved. There it is. 2:08 a.m. and 52 seconds. There it is. The elevation is incorrect. And shows I got 59% battery in the watch. I have 237 miles of range in our Tesla. Can you imagine? I don't know how many miles of range I got in the car coming through my watch. Updates every minute. There's in the top corner, that's the stopwatch that I use when I'm cooking. Just enter the time right in there, and a little alarm starts to work. Oh, my little doggy finally bedded down for the morning. Oh, you're a busy little bee. That's my sleep score, not so good today. No. Very fast how it goes. You know, the print screen goes to the phone and gets distributed to all your Apple products. Unbelievable. So if you look, my point right here, this is my elapsed time recorder that tells me I've been on the air 47 minutes and 30 seconds. This little good dude out here is the exact time within 50 milliseconds. 2:11 a.m. and 7 seconds, yeah. And this is a rebroadcast of a TV channel somewhere in TV land. And this is, there you go, there's a photo album. Slideshow. I think. Let's go to stocks. The stocks app. Tesla. This is just a few of the stocks that Jimmy follows. Yeah. The FTSE, Bank United, Solidon, whatever that is. AT&T, that's the symbol T. There it is. It's up to $28 a share. The yield. There's the yield on this. What's this? 3.92%. Amazon. There you go. This is 1 day, 24 hours, or 9:30 in the morning till 4 p.m. in the afternoon is Apple stock. Yeah, look at the PE ratio, 32. Google, 27. Meta, 24. Amazon, which is a technology company on top of delivering stuff. All the logistics and the robotics and yeah, Tesla. Not very pretty. It's gone down $78 a share. Year to date, it's gone down $85 a share. Pretty sad. It's, it's changing. It's decided it wants to be a RoboCab in the RoboCab business. More so than being a manufacturing, selling cars to the public. It's probably going to start making cars for itself to feed its RoboCab fleet. There could be a RoboCab XL, so it can handle 4 people instead of just 2. I'll bet you that's going to happen. 94% of all cab rides are 2 people or less. That makes it 2 or 1. So they went after the 94% of the market. And if you want a bigger car, then you can get a RoboCab, which is the Model Y, instead of RoboTaxi. Look at the PE ratio, 326. That's, when I tell myself, that's too high, man. Yeah. There's no other company in the NYSE that has a 300 price earnings ratio. That's the earnings per share, times 326 equals the price of the stock. So you take 352, which is the price of stock, and divide it by 326, and that tells you what the earnings are projected. Right there, $1.08 a share. It's right there, 108. I'm sorry, you can't see that. Whoops, let's skinny this up a little bit. Let's see if that, right there. There we go, 30, see, 108. Yeah. PE ratio of 326. I don't think so. When you start showing some earnings in some of these categories, then maybe we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But it's going to be all expense for a while, so you know what? Let's get with the program. So drip, drip, drip. Plus you got all these jurisdictions. You get it approved by the state of New York, the state of this, the state of confusion, whatever. And there's no consistent way to evaluate, so then you might have to have some legislation come through Congress. My God, we can't get 1 + 1 = 2 through Congress right now. I don't know if Trump has anything to say about it. Dune. Cell payments. That's what's going on with Elon Musk. All right, let's get rid of that. Here we go. Huh. I already showed you the guy in the catbird seat. You know, these camera guys inside these, what do you call it, the cabinet room next to the Oval Office. We've gotten a grand tour of the White House. We know exactly, you know, you stand in the corridor right next to the facing the Oval. Your right hand, the door to the Oval Office. Your left hand is the door to the Cabinet Office. And there's a box right there. And you drop your cell phone in that box as you walk in the door. I think they have a bunch of lockers on the wall behind you. So you can, it's almost like a little lockers to put your phone and so that when you go inside the cabinet office, your phone is secure. In this little locker, you take the key. And then when you get out of the cabinet office, you go retrieve your phone, which is secure. And that's where they found, in box number 50, they found a bag of cocaine, I believe, during the Biden administration. So had a bag of cocaine locked up in box number 50. Can you believe it? These guys are fighting crazy. There's the actual app that I can see on my watch. 225 miles of range. The car is locked. That's that locked symbol right there, yeah. There's my dog in a box. Dog in a box right there. All curled up. This is when Marilyn and I had our first official introduction and private conversation. February 22nd, 1980. Yeah. I should send that to Marilyn. It's do the pen yellow and there you go. Cute. Okay, cute. Yeah. If I send it to Marilyn, her phone is gonna ping. I'll send it another day. Friday night at 8:15. So when I stood up and said, "Hi, how are you? Come join us." And we've been breakfast, lunch, and dinner ever since. It was like magnetism. We both just went through divorces. Not because of each other, didn't know her. There you go. Here's an interesting. Every blue-eyed person on the planet is a descendant of one single person that had, a defective gene about 10,000 years ago, according to some science people. There you go. Descendants from a single European who lived around 10,000 years ago, according to unnamed scientists. My eyes are hazel. That's part blue, I think. One of the most common mistakes of money tree plant growers, you overwater them, and the pot needs to be drainable, a hole in the bottom, so the water goes out the bottom, so it doesn't get rotten in the bottom of the pot. Every two weeks, flood it. Let it dry out. So not dry as a bone, but stick your finger in the soil and see if it's moist. Don't water it. If it feels a little dry, water it. Common name, money tree. Botanical name, Akira aquatica. The family name is Malvaceae. Sun exposure, bright and indirect light. Soil type, well draining. Blooms in the spring. I've got several money trees, and I don't think I've seen it bloom with something flower. Mature size, 3 to 8 feet tall. Yeah. Flower color, yellow and white. Central and South America is the native. It is not toxic to pets. There's the money tree. Yep, I have one of those. So that's twice that size. Beginner-friendly guide to money tree care. Daniel has one. I sent him these directions. Whoops. That, and that. He doesn't need it. His money tree is growing like crazy. John Fetterman won all 67 Pennsylvania counties in 2022 for an open U.S. Senate seat. But his votes on the Senate floor have angered lots of Democrats who helped send him to the White House. Or, excuse me, the Senate, Washington, D.C. So in 2028, he's up for re-election. Yeah. 6-year terms in the Senate. Rescue team in Iran faces harrowing and dangerous search warrant. Let's remember. Well, they found him. Yes, they did. Yep. Thank God. They would have paraded him around with his head on a stick. Yeah. The search operation was high risk. This is a a prank. The guy on the right spent 6 months secretly getting his pilot's license. And the guy on the left is flying his plane that he owns. And all of a sudden, this guy on the right just takes over and starts flying it, much to his amazement. That's amazing. Whoa! Holy crap! This guy knows how to fly. He's got his headphones on. He's talking to the tower or whatever, you know. There's Trump with King Charles, that's Trump 45. He's about to receive King Charles and Camilla into the White House, I think towards the end of April. This is a picture like 5 years ago. Can I tell?
It's 2:30.
No. It's 2:30 a.m. There they are. They're meeting and extended shaking hands. Yeah. This is Marco Rubio talking about the situation in Iran in March 3rd. That's a month ago. Marco and the State Department issued a dress code for diplomats in the State Department. You shouldn't need such a thing, but apparently some people are taking advantage of the way they appear when they're acting as a senior diplomatic officer. Coat and tie, oh darn it. No see-through blouses. I remember when I was a young lad and I worked in the commercial loan department of Barnett Bank of Miami. And Stephen Corus's secretary, new secretary, showed up in a semi-see-through, blouse. And it was the talk of the floor. Everyone was filing in front of her desk, taking a peek at her two headlights shining through. Very nicely well-formed breasts, if you will. And so I tucked my head in Stephen Corus's door and I said, seems your secretary is attracting a lot of attention. He called me in, he waved me in with his finger and he said, do you think you could, do you have the wherewithal to ask her to go home and change? I said, I certainly will. So I whispered in her ear to get up from her desk. And I said, you just come with me for a minute. So I walked into an empty private office and I said, what is your name? She said her name. Melissa, you are a beautiful young lady. But this is the second floor of the senior commercial lending department of one of the state's largest banks. And although you're very attractive, I believe your top is better suited for after hours than during hours. Would you happen to have something you could put underneath your blouse or a different blouse? She said, oh, I live close by. I'll go change if you think that's inappropriate. I said, you are stunning looking. And I, don't want to say anything negative about it. You appear beautiful. But yeah, would you mind just changing your top to something a little more conservative? And she popped on home and she came on back. And that was the end of that. I went back into Stephen D. Corus's office, who just hired me like 2 weeks ago. And I said, Mr. Corus, mission accomplished. She'll be right back. She lives close by. So at 10:30, I sent her home, got change. I mean, today it would be, an HR friggin' nightmare on that. You tell somebody they're not dressed appropriately. You'd have to go to HR and you have to file a report and all this stuff. Well, 45 years ago, 50 years ago, 40, 48 years ago, whatever. Yep. Barnett Bank needed a dress code. They didn't have one. You walk around, you see how other people are dressed. Come on. It was her first day or second day, on the job. So at the time, I was happily married, so was interested in getting to know the young lady any further. I just have a feeling Hicks is gonna get the short straw. Democrats hate him. Yeah, they'll put a general in there and they can hate a general. This guy is James Carville. He is like old news. He's calling Trump a fat effing whatever. Bad news. Listen to me, you fat. Yes. Yeah, right. You see the yellow boxes? You see those yellow boxes, you better check how fast you're going. Because if you're going too fast, in 2 weeks, you're going to have a ticket on your mailbox. Speed cameras measure your velocity with remarkable precision using a Doppler measuring method. You ever hear a train go by or an ambulance that goes, and the pitch of the audio waves changes as it's coming to you as opposed to going away from you? That change in the frequency of that sound is because of the Doppler effect. The siren or the sound is the same if you are on the train or the ambulance. It's just if you're on the ground, like those boxes, you're driving towards that camera, it's going to measure your speed with those sensors in there. Automatic tickers. I don't know what the status is of that in Florida. They had them and then they took them down. I don't know. They weren't good enough for somebody filed some litigation and took them down. She is out. And it was a caption when you think or the pictures of her on the walls of the Department of Justice, they're all in the trash can. She was pretty pushy, sifting through to find out who the Democratic holdouts were in the Department of Justice, which she fired by the dozens. Poisonous plants, watch out. Particularly these really good-looking ones. You touch that, you're dead. Yep. Do not touch. Invasive plants. They look like they're okay, but they're really not. This guy is a carnivorous plant that eats bugs that get attracted to its sweet nectar inside. Venus flytrap. Venus's flytrap. That's what that was called. I had one. I was growing one of those when I was a kid. Eating these mushrooms leads to irreversible liver failure. It's among the 9 deadliest fungi on the planet. That's a mushroom you don't want to eat. Yeah. Mercedes brings steer-by-wire to its production cars. It's a big deal, because now you turn the steering wheel and the signals then go to actuators instead of the mechanical with the iron pipe going between the steering wheel and some gears underneath the motor. Now it's fly-by-wire electronic signals. That's what you need in order to have your self-driving, kind of software operate in your car. You gotta have fly-by-wire, not mechanical struts. As a general, I can't believe he just got fired. Fired the Army's top officer, General Randy George. Concerned about politicization of America's military. Political thing. So he's out. Right in the middle. Right in the beginning of the war in Iran. Bam, he's got his walking papers. Here's our Artemis 2 crew members talking to planet Earth. Here's planet Earth with the moon behind. Yeah. So that's the dark side of it. The nighttime on planet Earth. And full moon was behind Earth. There's Earth peeking around the moon a couple of days ago. There you go. There's a nice full picture of the moon on April 2nd. Trump fires Biondi because she couldn't bring the bleeding heads of his enemies on a platter fast enough. The ones that were suing him also. Here's an A-10 Warthog that got shot down. Not necessarily that one, but one like it. Commonly known as Warthog. All right. It's 1:43 a.m. and I've been chit-chatting here with you all, having a sip of coffee. I hope you enjoyed the hour and 20 minutes or whatever. This is our new Attorney General acting. Which was the Lieutenant Attorney General, is now acting Attorney General. He'll probably stay right there and be hopefully confirmed before 2028 or 2000 before April. I'm sorry, before November this year. Well, they just go ahead and confirm him as the Attorney General. Yeah.
It's 2:45.
This is Pam Bondi's final statement as Attorney General. Over the past, Todd Blanche. Oops. That's Todd Blanche. Yeah. Gold. Yeah. That's our Easter menu, which we enjoyed. Except the glazed carrots didn't make it to the dinner plate. The carrots did, but not the glazed. So every other day we're giving a carrot to our new puppy dog. All right, listen. You've probably had enough of this pain. I actually enjoy talking to everybody. I get little text messages saying, talk about this, talk about that. Stop talking about this. Say goodnight. I'm going to say goodnight. Yeah. I'm going to make this full screen mode. This is what I have to do when I slide out. Bye-bye. So the music goes louder. And I'll talk to you probably tomorrow night around midnight, maybe after we find out what the lottery numbers are for Mega Millions. $100 million grand prize. Bye-bye.